Hello everyone, we are from Group 1 and now we are presenting the topic of globalization and its closing case called the Detroit Bikes. And here is our team members.
For the last 30 years, countries have started to shift to free market economics and consistently lower the barriers for the international trade. Not only that, globalization and technological advancement has made international businesses easier and more efficient. This immediately made way for countries like United Kingdom and Hong Kong to make rapid progress in their economic power. This shift in global economics has made international businesses in several countries to adapt. For the United Kingdom, the removal of United Kingdom from the European Union forces international business based in UK to adapt to non-European Union markets and regulations. For North America, the advancements of technology that were made possible by the tech innovators at Silicon Valley in the US has gave the North Americans a leverage as the main source of those technological advancements. For Hong Kong, Hong Kong is trying to adapt to maintain its position in global finance by aligning with Chinese markets while catering to its global clients, where it serves as the gateway to China. Even though it is true that multinational enterprises takes the spotlight in international trade and investment, smaller firms actually have their own considerably large position in international business. This was made possible by the advancements of technology, where international communication and transportation continuously becomes easier and better. For example, the internet allows small businesses to market and sell their products to faraway countries. Individuals who plan to work or even start up their own small businesses should definitely look into the study of international business, as it gives them a bigger opportunity to expand their businesses. The main technological advancements that contributed to globalization are in the field of communication and transportation. For the communication technology, internet and computer devices have enabled businesses to manage their operations globally with direct and real-time communication. For the transportation technology, shipping technologies such as containerization and air freights has made it easier to ship products to the other side of the world faster. Without these advancements, the globalization of production and markets would not have progressed as rapidly as it did.
To answer question number 4, ultimately the study of international business is no different from the study of domestic business. Thus, there is no point in having a separate course on international business. So, to evaluate the statement, I think studying international business separately from domestic business is actually make a lot of sense. In global markets, right now you are dealing with things like cultural differences, currency risk, and different legal systems, all stuff that doesn't come up as much in domestic business. So having a separate course really helps us understand these extra challenges and also to prepare us for working in a globalized world. Question number 5, how does the internet affect international business activity and globalizations of the world economy? So I think the internet has greatly accelerated international business activity and globalization by connecting people, business, and also markets worldwide. It enables a faster communication, easier information access, and digital transactions, and also reducing the needs of physical presence. So, for companies, it opens up access to global customers, suppliers, and also talents while lowering the cost. The internet also allows small and medium-sized enterprise to compete internationally, fostering more competitive market and interconnected global markets. So overall, I think that the internet has helped dissolve the traditional barriers, making global trade easier and collaboration more efficient. Question 6a. If current trends continue, China may be the world's largest economy by 2030. Discuss the possibilities of these implications of such a development system for the world trading system. So, In my opinion, if China becomes the world's largest economy, it will likely have a major impact, have a major influence on the global trading system. China could set a trade rules and also standards that reflect its own economic and political priorities. So, potentially shifting power away from traditionally dominant economies like the US and the EU. So this may lead to a new trade agreements and partnership focused on Asia and increased emphasis on the Chinese yuan in trade. So additionally, Chinese economic dominance could inspire the other countries to adopt more more protectionist or collaborative strategic to compete or align with China's trade policies.
B. Implication for the world monetary system. 1. Shift in reserve currency dominance. As China's economy grows, the Chinese yuan could increasingly challenge the US dollar position as the dominant global reserve currency. More countries might diversify their reserve by holding yuan, which could reduce global reliance on the dollar and decrease US influence in global monetary policy. 2. Increased role of Chinese financial institution. Chinese banks and financial markets might gain more prominence in global finance, leading to a more multipolar financial system where China has a greater influence over international monetary organization like IMF. Greater influence on global interest rates and policies. China's economic policies and interest rates could have more significant global impacts, influencing investment flows and economic stability in other countries. And C. Implication for the business strategy of today's European and US-based global corporation. 1. Shift of focus towards the Chinese market. With China as a major economy, global corporations may prioritize the Chinese market, tailoring products, services, and strategies to meet local demand and preferences. Companies may also consider establishing regional headquarters or research and development centers in China. And second one, increase competition with Chinese firms. As Chinese companies grow and expand internationally, European and US firms may face stronger competition both in China and globally, pushing them to innovate more aggressively and explore new market. 3. Adaptation to different regulatory and cultural environments. Global corporations will need to navigate China's regulation and adapt to local cultural expectation, particularly as the Chinese government maintains the control over sector it deems strategically important. 4. Potential need for partnership and join to gain a stronger foothold in China. Foreign companies might need to form partnership with local firms, leveraging Chinese companies' local expertise and networks. Last one, D. Implication for global commodity prices. 1. Increased demand price. As China economy grows, its demand for commodities like oil, metals, could increase, driving up global prices. This could lead to greater price as global supply tries to keep up with the demand from a larger Chinese economy. 2. Shift in supply chains. Countries that produce essential commodities may prioritize export to China, reshaping global trade patterns. Resource-rich countries may also see higher revenues and increased investment in their infrastructure to meet China's demand. 3. Focus on green and renewable commodities. With China's focus on green energy and sustainable growth, the demand for renewable energy sources and rare earth metals might rise, impacting prices for these commodities globally. 4. Impact on emerging economies. Rising commodity prices could benefit emerging economies that export raw materials, but could also lead to inflation pressure for countries that rely on commodity imports, affecting global economic stability. In summary, China's rise, the world's largest economy, will significantly reshape global finance, corporate strategies, and commodity markets, with implications for both developed and developing economies.
7A. Benefit of Boeing outsourcing manufacturing of complement of being 7x7 to firms based on other countries. First, cost saving. By outsourcing components to foreign firms, Boeing reduce production costs as parts can often be manufactured more cheaply abroad. 2. Access to specified skill and advanced technology. Foreign firms like Mitsubishi and Kawasaki have expertise in specific components such as carbon fiber, wings, and other structural parts which improve quality and efficiency. 3. increase flexibility and focus on core operation. Outsourcing enables Boeing to concentrate on design, final assembly, and other core components while delegating the manufacture of specific part specialists for enhanced global market presence. By engaging with foreign suppliers, Boeing builds strong business relationships in those regions, potentially boosting sales and strengthen its global presence. B. Potential cost and risk to Boeing outsourcing. One, quality and consistency issues. Managing quality across multiple global suppliers in challenging and different standards may lead to inconsistency in component quality. 2. Produce delays and coordination issues. Coordinating a complex supply chain increases the risk of delays, as late deliveries from many suppliers can disrupt the entire production timeline. 3. Loss control and dependence on suppliers. By outsourcing critical components, Boeing becomes dependent on external firms, reducing its control over production processes and timelines. For intellectual property risk sharing, design and specification with international suppliers could increase the risk of intellectual property leakage. 5. Skill depletion. Outsourcing may result in the loss of in-house manufacturing expertise, making it harder being production backhouse if needed. See other beneficiaries and potential losses of Boeing outsourcing decision. First, beneficiaries. Foreign suppliers, firms like Mitsubishi and Kawasaki benefit from Boeing's orders, gaining revenue and industry expertise. Host countries where these parts are manufactured benefit from job creation and economic growth. Airlines and consumers. Lower production costs may lead to more affordable aircraft and potentially lower ticket price. Suppliers or advanced materials. Firms supplying and advanced materials from outsourced part also being from Boeing's global production approach. To potential losers. U.S. worker and domestic suppliers outsourcing the reduced domestic manufacturing and jobs business opportunities for U.S.-based suppliers. Boeing, if the reliance on external firms becomes problematic, Boeing may struggle to regain control over critical production process. Local communities in the U.S. Regions dependent on Boeing's production could face economic impact due to reduced local production activities. This insight summarizes the advantages and risks of Boeing extensive outsourcing models, as well as wider impact on various stakeholders.
And next is for point D. If Boeing keep all the production in the US, costs would likely rise due to higher labor expenses, potentially reducing competitiveness. However, it would create more manufacturing jobs, benefit local communities with economic growth, and rebuild lost manufacturing skills. Losing access to specialized foreign suppliers, however, might hurt Boeing's supply chain flexibility. Next is for point E. Boeing's outsourcing helps it remain competitive by tapping global expertise and keeping prices lower, strengthening U.S. jobs in engineering and design. Yet, excessive outsourcing can erode domestic manufacturing skills and economic resilience. Balancing key in-house production with specialized global suppliers allows Boeing to leverage competitive pricing and maintain critical skills within the U.S., benefiting the broader economy. Here's a 10-point summary of the situation faced by the US bicycle industry and Detroit bikes. The first point is peak US bicycle production. In the 1970s, US companies assembled over 15 million bicycles per year, but globalization led to most production moving overseas. The second point is the rise of China in bicycle manufacturing. By 2018, China assembled around 95% of bicycles sold in the US and produced 65% of US bicycle components, thanks to lower production costs. The third point is the shift to design and marketing. Most American bicycle companies shifted their focus to product design and marketing, with the manufacturing primarily done abroad to benefit from lower prices. The fourth point is Detroit Bikes and local manufacturing. Zachary Pasak founded Detroit Bikes in 2013, motivated to revitalize manufacturing in Detroit. However, he faced challenges like outdated or unavailable production equipment. The fifth point is reliance on imported components. Despite domestic assembly, Detroit Bikes had to import most bike components, primarily from China due to lack of local suppliers. The sixth point is the impact of the 2018 tariffs. The Trump administration's 25% tariffs on Chinese imports, including bikes and components, disrupted global trade patterns, complicating Detroit Bikes' supply chain and raising production costs. The seventh point is mixed consequences for Detroit bikes. The tariffs gave Detroit bikes a competitive edge against fully imported bikes, but increased costs for imported components, canceling out much of that advantage. The eighth point is exploring new suppliers. PASA considers sourcing parts from Taiwan and Cambodia, but shifting suppliers proved complex with limited capacity and increased prices due to the uncertainty surrounding the tariffs. The ninth point is the persistent China dependence. By late 2019, only 28% of US companies had managed to shift supply chain away from China, and only a fraction had done so significantly. And then the last point, which is possible solution and price increases. PASA contemplated assembling parts in Canada to avoid tariffs, but the process was costly and uncertain. So in the short term, price increases were the most feasible solution for many companies facing similar supply chain issues.
Hello everyone. So, did outsourcing bike production benefit American consumers and producers? So, to answer these questions, from 1980 to 2018, much of American bike production moved overseas, especially to China. This change brought clear benefits to American consumers and producers, but also some challenges. So, firstly, for customers, the biggest win was lower prices. Manufacturing in China cut costs, which made the bikes more affordable to everyone. So, outsourcing also gave consumers more choices with a wider range of styles and features as companies focus on design and innovations. Second, for producers, outsourcing was a cost saver, boosting profits by lowering production's expenses. So this also helped the US brands stay competitive and even expand internationally. But there was a downside. So many manufacturing jobs were lost in the US because of this, and companies became heavily dependent on overseas supply chains. So the reliance created a risk that, especially if trade issues or global crisis disrupted productions. So in short, the outsourcing of bike productions made bikes more cheaper and more varied for consumers, while increasing profits for companies. But it also led to job losses in America and greater supply chains dependency of foreign supply. Thank you.
The main reason why Zachary Pasak wanted to bring back bike manufacturing in 2013 to the US was because he wanted to revitalize local manufacturing in Detroit, a city that had been significantly impacted by the decline of the automotive industry. He saw an opportunity to help stimulate economic growth in Detroit by creating local jobs and contributing to resurgence in American manufacturing. His decision was influenced by both economic and social considerations, as he believed Detroit manufacturing capacity and skilled labor force could support his business. On the other hand, Pasak's strategy had both rational and idealistic elements. Economically, it was rational in that he tried to leverage Detroit's manufacturing resources and labor base, potentially creating a unique Made in America brand that could attract consumers willing to pay a premium for locally made product. However, it was also risky, as most of the bicycle industry's supply chain had moved overseas, making it difficult and expensive to source parts domestically. Not as easy as we thought, he also faced several challenges during his time. As he said, when you send the whole industry overseas, it's hard to bring it back. Since most of the bicycles sold in the US were assembled in China, this is causing several problems for him. Firstly, limited domestic supply chain. Pasak discovered that many essential components for bicycles such as tires, tubes, and seats were not manufactured in the US. Secondly is high cost. Manufacturing in the US was more expensive due to higher labor costs and the need to import parts. This raised the overall production cost, making it difficult to compete with cheaper imported bikes. Thirdly is tariff imported parts. When tariffs were imposed on import bicycle components in 2018, Passat production costs increased by 25%, further squeezing component in 2018, further squeezing his profit margins and undermining the cost advantage he hoped to achieve by assembling bikes domestically. And lastly is longer lead times and supply chains uncertainties. Passat also forced logistical challenges and delays in the supply chains when relying on foreign parts, which added complexity and risk to his production process.
The 25% tariff on imports from China by the Trump administration has made an impact not only on the companies but also the American customers. On Detroit Bikes itself, it gave an advantage where Detroit Bikes their bicycles are assembled in Detroit, so they do not have to pay the imported finished bikes tariff, which gave them a cost advantage. While there's another disadvantage that actually the components that Detroit Bikes imported from China costed an additional 25%, and it significantly raised the production costs. So the disadvantage actually is worse than the advantage. So the advantage can be seen as non-existent. For the American customers, the tariff does not benefit the American customers because it forces companies to raise the prices of their products. With the increasing price, American customers are put in a disadvantage in which they are required to pay more for products. While for the unintended consequences, the uncertainty of the tariff made foreign suppliers other than China reluctant to invest in production capacity. Instead, they raised their prices, so it made impact that is not actually seen before by the Trump administration.
Based on this case study about Detroit Bikes, here's what it illustrates about A. The benefits of international trade and globalization, B. The challenges associated with insourcing manufacturing, and C. The intended and unintended consequences of import tariffs. A. Benefits of international trade and globalization. The case highlight that globalization allow U.S. bicycle companies to significantly reduce production costs by outsourcing manufacturing to countries with lower labor costs, primarily China. This outsourcing led to lower prices for consumers in the US because of the cheaper production costs abroad. Globalization also enabled a more extensive and efficient supply chain, as China and other countries produce not only bicycles but also essential components such as tires, tubes, and seats. This accessibility to affordable global supplier boosted the availability and affordability of products in the US market, benefiting both businesses and consumers. And for the next question, B. Challenges associated with the insourcing manufacturing. Pasha's experience with Detroit Bike shows that difficulties of insourcing manufacturing in the US after years of dependency on outsourced supply chains. Although Detroit had manufacturing experience and labor, sourcing essential components domestically proved challenging because many components were only available from foreign suppliers. The limited US-based supply chain made it difficult and costly to manufacture bikes entirely in the US. Additionally, high labor and production costs in the US made it challenging to compete with foreign-made bicycles, where production costs were significantly lower. Pasha's struggle reflects the general difficulty of rebuilding manufacturing in sectors that have been outsourced for decades. And the last one, C. Intended and unintended consequences of import tariffs. The case shows that tariffs on imported components were intended to encourage domestic manufacturing by making foreign parts more expensive. However, the unintended consequence was that companies like Detroit Bikes face higher production costs because they had to pay 25% more for essential components that were not readily available from US suppliers, which means this increase undermined the cost advantage of assembling bicycles domestically and forced Pasha to consider sourcing from other countries like Taiwan and Cambodia to manage costs. Tariffs also affected the broader US bicycle industry, leading to fears that US companies relying on imported parts would lose competitiveness. Particularly in the market with lower tariffs like China, many companies in similar situation face tough choices: absorb the extra costs, pass them on to consumers, or move production out of the US, potentially losing local jobs. In Detroit Bike's case, the tariffs intend to boost domestic manufacturing ended up creating financial strain, illustrating the complex effects trade policies can have on business operating in global supply chains. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
That's it from our team. Thank you so much for watching.